Welcome to EDN 2025. I'm Jonah, Halper, host of the Date Your Donors podcast. I'm here with Rena Berger. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank God. How are you?
Very, very well. You are the executive director of Hanna, Bais, Yaakov.
Yes.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yeah, we don't talk
You don't.
that
You
way.
don't tell. I know. Sorry.
Sorry.
It's obnoxious that I'm trying to force you into the. But wonderful to meet you. We've had a couple conversations, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about your background because you come from Seattle.
Yes.
You were in Seattle.
I was in Seattle.
And you, from my understanding, you were really like the founding executive director of a school there. And I would love to talk about the idea of going from like nothing to something.
Sure.
And I'm sure you're trying to get a lot done with limited resources.
Yes.
That's a big theme, I'm sure.
Yes.
And I would love to, give a little bit about like what your background is, like, why would you be the executive director there, who you are, like where did you grow up, like just get a little bit about who you are.
Sure. So I'm originally from Boston.
All right.
Got married. My husband was living in Seattle, so I moved to Seattle. I was portable. He was not. And I heard about some parents wanting to start a new school. Everyone's always looking for something new.
Sure.
Or what's there isn't suiting, isn't right for their kids, and looking for more options. And I called the people involved and said, hey, I've got a master's in education administration. I'd love to help. I'm really good at paperwork. Where do you need a volunteer? And the next thing I knew, I was hired. And
as the executive director.
Well, so we didn't have that title. I actually don't even remember what my title was back then. It was me and the head of school and 4 teachers.
Right. So you were on the administrative side.
I was always on the administrative
and they
side.
were the academics.
And then we had some teachers, and that was pretty much it. And we started from nothing. I answered the phone, handled tuition, put on Band-Aids, and made sure we paid our taxes.
Right.
And, started filling out paperwork and becoming a licensed school in Seattle, Washington.
Unbelievable. And then how many years were you there and then moved to Chicago?
So we were there for close to 18 years with the school, and then we moved to Chicago about 5 years ago.
What brought you to Chicago? The job, or is it something other?
No, not the job, actually. My son was in high school in Chicago, and so my husband...
Was it Skokie?
No, Shari Durham.
Shari Durham, very nice.
Yes, great school. Yes. Really helped him grow, find his path. And my husband was living in Chicago with our son, and I was living in Seattle with our girls. And
that's not ideal.
It's not ideal. We knew it wasn't long term. COVID hit, and I found a remote job working for Jewish Sacred Spaces. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a phenomenal organization. Shout out if I can.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's shout them out. Who is Jewish
it's
Sacred
run
Spaces?
by Shira Berkovitz.
Okay.
And they help shuls, schools, nonprofit Jewish organizations with issues to prevent abuse in the workplace and educational institutions, camps. They have a fantastic program called Elena where they'll come into your school and help you make sure that you've got policies in place, facilities in place.
It's amazing. Where are they based?
So they're remote.
They're remote. Oh, they're remote.
She lives in Philadelphia.
Got it.
I was living in Chicago. Other people were in Arizona, Ohio.
Right. But you're servicing all North America or U.S.?
The world.
The world.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Israel. It's phenomenal. You should Google it, jewishsacredspaces.org.
Okay.
I think.
It's either .org or .com.
Yeah, I think it's .org.
All right.
It's really amazing,
Okay, cool.
like what they've done.
I'm glad you were able to mention them. We're going to make sure our listeners check them out.
A little shout out for them. And I was working for them and volunteered my services.
You made the mistake again of volunteering your services.
I made the mistake again.
Yeah.
And actually, in between that, I worked for my son's yeshiva, Shari Durham, made the mistake of sending them a calendar. They, everything was, Rosh Yeshiva, bunch of guys trying to run a school.
Yeah. The term we use is Heimish. They're
yes.
Very homey style.
Yes.
It goes as flow as you go,
And I got a couple documents from them that I was just like, I can't use this. Redid it the way I wanted it and then sent it back. And they said, so.
Oh, you're confident.
Yeah. Would you like a job? We're looking for a director of finance and administration, something like that. So I said, sure.
Right.
So I worked for them part-time. Sacred Spaces, and then Hanna Sachs came along, and I went to an open house and said, I think it's amazing what you're trying to do. It was a brand new principal. She hadn't even started working yet. This was her year of learning the ropes, so to speak.
Sure.
And I said, I think what you're doing is great. I have experience in starting things from nothing, or not from nothing, but growing. That's much better, growing something, and I'd love to help. And the next thing I knew, I was in an interview to become their executive
Listen,
director.
everyone, if you're listening out there, if you want to know how to get a job, if you volunteer, you offer it for nothing, then often they will see your competencies and they will offer you a full-time job, certified by Rena Berger.
Yeah, there you go. Or be careful of volunteering.
Or be careful, exactly.
Could be a pitfall.
Understand they may call you and ask you to be an employee.
Yeah, so it's amazing. Hanna Sachs had a wonderful infrastructure. They're respected in the community, students, teachers.
Tell me a little bit about the school. What is Hanna Sachs?
So it's the way I understand it, and we're still crafting our vision and mission because we're rebranding a little bit.
Well, how old is the school? How long has the school been around?
60, 70 years.
60, 70 years.
Yeah,
so there's an evolution
old,
because you're saying they're trying to find their voice now and that kind of thing.
Correct, or more making sure the community understands who they are.
Got it.
So we call ourselves sometimes Bais Yaakov Light.
Bais Yaakov Light.
Yeah, there is a Bais Yaakov in Chicago.
Yeah, and there's also Bais Yaakov in like the New York scene. Like there's like very
right.
There's out of town Bais Yaakov. Like it's.
Yeah, so we're not out of town Bais Yaakov. We're not New York Bais Yaakov.
Got it.
We are a community school.
Okay.
Very much a community school. So our mission really is to fill the needs of the community.
Got it.
So you've got, let's say, girls who don't quite fit in at the academy, which is a fantastic college prep school. But, their parents, the girls, they want something a little bit different, more Bais Yaakov-y, but they don't really want Bais Yaakov, which is, full-on a Bais Yaakov school. And that's where we fit in.
It's amazing. It's like you can have so many shades of gray nowadays.
Yes.
You don't have to have like you're either this or you're that. And sorry, you have to be a square peg and push into a round hole. And you can really find the nuanced place. And that's a beautiful thing,
It's amazing. Listen, I started a school. I work at Bais Yaakov. I've got 3 children who all go to very different schools. We're talking like to the right of Tells, to the left of, whatever. I firmly, so strongly believe in finding the right school for your child.
Well, we do say
yes,
Darko,
yes,
right?
there you go.
So we actually are supposed to live that. So
yes, very much so.
Very good. Okay, so you're working.
Yeah, so I'm working at Hanna Sachs, and what I love about it is while it does have a solid infrastructure, it's a great place. There's so much room for growth, and to make it my own and put in my own policies and procedures and really help it grow to the next level. I mean, there's technology even, we are a Bais Yaakov. We want, we don't want the students to have phones. Right. We don't want them on their own devices all day.
There's a big difference between just using technology and being on Instagram and TikTok.
Exactly.
Right? Like, so there is a way to in a healthy way, use technology.
Exactly.
And you're trying to make sure you train these girls to be able to use it.
And that's what we do. Right. They are allowed to have phones, but only certain phones. And they have to drop them off when they come to school. And we've now moved to one-to-one devices where they do have their own laptop. It has their name on it, but it goes into a locked cart when they're not in class, and they cannot take it home with them.
Right.
So, and they have a digital citizenship class, learning how to use technology. Right. So things like that, like the world is just growing by leaps and bounds, and being able to keep up with it.
It makes sense because if you're fully restricted, like we have this philosophy about uniforms, because the idea is that you're supposed to be dressed like appropriate, like right. But if they're forced into this is how it is, then you're never ever teaching boys or girls how you should look like when you're not in school, right? So if you're not taught with technology how to use it in a healthy way, and it's no, you can't use it at all, and then they go out and they graduate and like, all right, here's a phone.
Right.
You're like, what? You haven't taught them at all anything.
Right. It's like the kids who can't watch TV and then all of a sudden are placed in front of a TV. That's all they do. Right. That's all they do. And even with uniforms, great example. So we're basically, we have uniforms, socks, skirts, the whole kit and caboodle, only certain, brands and things like that. But outside of school, we have a dress code, which is different than a uniform.
100%.
So it's teaching how to move in the world.
Right. It's not punitive. It's meant to be to give the girls a healthy way to understand, learn in a way that they take pride in how they look and all that. But it's education.
It's education, and very much, Hanna Sachs is college prep. Our girls go to college. They want to be professions. It's a little.
Very nice.
A little bit
okay,
different.
so tell me some of the things that you learned when you were in Seattle, taking something from like nothing, just a new idea. That you kind of came into making it to some transferable, whether it's skills or things that you brought in, that you've learned along the way.
I mean, what I brought in, one of the most amazing things, create a new school, you need a new staff manual, new parent handbook. So you're creating those from scratch. So I believe in, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Okay.
So finding some schools who I admire their practices, taking their handbooks, modifying it, and taking, the pieces I like and creating one for Seattle. And that's what I did. Had it reviewed by an attorney and made sure that all our...
Everything was kosher.
Yeah, you got it. When I came to Hanna Sachs, we needed to redo the handbook. The whole second half that talked about operations, which was just all the legal stuff that needs to be in every school, I was able to copy and paste
it right over.
It was my work.
Right,
it's not like, I'm
And you're
stealing
you're
something.
welcome, Hanna Sachs.
Exactly.
You're the beneficiary of all the work I've done in the previous
Exactly.
life. Right.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Financially, I have something that I did not create. One of our board members named it, called the HEB report.
What's it called?
HEB.
HEB.
H-E-B.
Okay.
It stands for Hishtadlus Emunah and Bitachon.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And that is what we use to track our cash flow.
Okay, what does that mean?
So to find out how much money we have in the bank, how much money we'll have next week, and how much we have for payroll and other AP types of obligations.
Okay.
Right? Nonprofits, you need to know how much money you have. It's not,
Fiduciary responsibility.
Exactly.
Professional staff, the board, there's a lot of...
Everyone needs to know. So it was a way of tracking our cash flow. And I still call it the HEB report.
It's really
And I
funny
still
because
use
when you say
pieces.
terms like Emunah and Bitachon, it sounds like everything's like a hope and a dream, right? Like, but it's not.
But it's not.
It's not what you're saying. Because
It's Hishtadlus.
right. It's first Hishtadlus. You have to put in the work.
Right.
That's interesting.
It is amazing. I will tell you that I don't know if Emunah was strengthened, created, solidified. In Seattle, there were new school, a couple days where we really weren't sure if we were going to make payroll. Like Mamish, it had to go out today.
We deal with schools all the time
Right.
that struggle to make payroll.
Teachers will get paid, but nobody above a teacher,
Right.
which were like, 3 people, but still,
Right.
no one above a teacher.
Yeah.
And a check showed up in the mail. That was exactly what we needed.
So that's your Emunah and Bitachon.
Yes.
Right? Like there's that. We have to do what we have to do, but
Yes.
God will hopefully provide.
Yes. And I will tell you, it happened more than once in Seattle,
Yeah.
which really made me go, okay, I'm doing something right.
I know.
Like Hashem wants us to be here. This is good. So I'm able to take some of that
That's really nice.
with me into Hanna Sachs, where situation's not as dire. Thank God, different type of community. But
How
you
about
need
working
that.
with leadership? How about that you have responsibility to work with the board, right? As far as setting vision, moving towards that direction, especially when you're talking about a newer school, everything is about not today; it's about where you're headed, right?
Yes.
Because people are willing to invest. They're not investing just to make payroll. No one wants to give money for payroll.
Right.
One of its vision a sustainable, growth-oriented school. How is that translated into how you engage leadership or involve them and talk to them at Hanna Sachs and just in your career? Because you can't be, everything's about where you're headed. So I'm curious to know how that has played out in your engagement of working with your leadership.
Sure. So in Seattle, it was very much a community type of organization where all hands on deck.
Right.
So I would see, the board member, his wife was my best friend.
Right.
Or actually she was co-president at one point. So there's a lot of always talking about the school, how
High levels of communication.
Yes, happening all the time. In Chicago, it's a little bit different. They have a different type of structure, different type of interactions. We do have 3 women on our board, which was a new step for the school. Our VOD gave approval for that. So I think that's fantastic. A girls' school having women on the board.
What a
Right, what a concept. And the interactions, at least on my side, are a little bit different. Like I'm not seeing them in shul the same way. So it's a lot more professional.
Right.
Which
There's
has...
that boundary instead of like
Right.
you being your best friend and like, oh, this is my friend. I have,
Exactly. So, pluses and minuses. You don't have that same close relationship where you can say, hey, dude, come on.
Right. You could be upfront and honest.
Exactly. But there's also that, that separation where we're not talking about it all the time and our communication really is professional. It's,
Right.
I'm sending you this information because I need you to know it. I need you to do something about it. It's different, but
Right.
it's still good. I'm not, saying
amazing.
get rid of all the knows.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the school is involved in a strategic plan, a growth initiative. They've contracted with a marketing company this year
For Hanna Sachs.
For Hanna
doing a strategic
Sachs,
plan.
yeah, to
Was there
help
ever a
them
strategic
grow.
plan in Seattle, or was
Yeah,
so
we
you
we
that
did.
process as well?
Yeah, we did. Again, very different. I was very involved, hands-on. Here, it's kind of nice. I can
Right.
concentrate concentrate more on, the other thousand
Yes,
things I need to do.
exactly.
And
You
there's
have
a
professional
committee
in front of
taking
this.
care of this. So
That's amazing.
that's different, but nice.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice, and it's
Yeah.
also really important to have like a third party coming in
Mm-hmm.
because everyone kind of looks at it through their own lens. So
Exactly.
that company may interview a variety of stakeholders in the school, but that'll give you more of a 360-degree view instead of like just like if I talk to the
Exactly.
executive director, I'm going to view Hanna Sachs through that lens. If
Right.
I talk to a parent, I'm going to look at that. When I talk to an alum, I'm going to see it through their lens. So it's really important to be able to set strategy, but also make sure that you're capturing the spirit and the voice of the school from all stakeholders.
Yes,
from
it's like editing your own documents.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss
yeah,
half
that's
the
why I
stuff.
say that. I need a fresh set of eyes.
Right.
I need someone else to
Yeah.
look at this thing.
So one great thing that I did in Seattle that I was able to transfer to Chicago before everyone was doing online campaigns and online dinners, because
Yes.
this was 2019.
Yeah.
So it was before COVID.
Yeah.
We did something called the Dinnerless Dinner.
Dinnerless dinner.
Dinnerless Dinner. I
Okay.
took that idea actually from a school that did it in Toronto.
Okay.
They did it a little different. We made it our annual campaign. Instead of doing that dinner, we did this.
Okay.
And no one came. We had appetizers, but it was all virtual.
You sent it to their home, or
So we didn't.
Okay.
We didn't send food to their home. We did think about it, and there was a raffle where if you want something, we sent you like a pastrami that day or something. But the flow of the event was virtual, and it followed a dinner. So we had music for appetizers. We had
How did they consume this experience? Was it
all virtual.
okay?
We did have something in school, so parents.
This was before COVID.
This was before
Man,
COVID.
You guys are trendsetters. Look
Really
at this.
trend. We had a great
When COVID hit, you're probably like, we got this.
been there, done that. We did it kind of like a telethon.
Okay.
So the video,
You had like Jackie Mason on there,
kinda.
Yeah.
It was really funny, and it was
John
really
Voight, you know,
Yeah.
dialing for dollars.
pretty much. We had like kids, being the.
There you go.
It was very, very cute. Great intro video. I'm sure you can find it somewhere on YouTube. Everything is in
It's
digital
there
forever.
Forever.
And we raised a significant amount of money. Like we
Do you
met our
feel-
goal.
Okay, you met your goal, because one of the fears I find a lot of people have is that when you move away from like a dinner format or like a real dinner format, like in person, the gravitas of a dinner would beg gifts of a certain size, right? Like, okay, well, because it's a dinner and you're going out, I'm going to get myself a bigger check. But did you find that the people who were the donors, they like gave the same amount of money even though it was virtual, or did you
They
feel like
did.
Yeah.
We were able to reach a wider audience, I
Right.
think.
Yeah, it's not just people who can drive to the event.
The reason in Seattle the dinner made money is one of the caterer was a parent, and so everything was cost. We didn't have to pay markup for anything.
Got it.
So all the money we brought in for the ad book, for the pledges, all that stuff was
was all in pocket.
straight donation. I don't know how schools and other locations where it costs them $2.50
yeah.
a plate, how they're making any money off a dinner.
Right.
And many schools will tell you we don't.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah,
PR.
There are a lot of values, and that's one of the things that I struggled with when organizations went online during COVID, and then after COVID was over, said maybe we'll never go back. What you lose is a couple things. One of the big things is your State of the Union address,
Right.
Right, because you have an opportunity to bring people in the room together and say, "Look what we've done. Look where we're going." That's a really powerful thing. And the other thing you lose is when you honor people at a dinner. You show everyone, not even so much for the honoree, but you show everyone in the room what leadership looks like. You say, this is the type of person that we honor. In fact, a lot of times when we want to ask someone to be an honoree, what do they often say? They say, oh, I don't need the honor. Don't do it for me. And we say, no, it's not really for you. You need to do it because it shows everyone else, like, this is what leadership looks like.
Right.
It sets a culture and a tone, so we need you to rise to the occasion. So the physical dinner has some really strong merits, but I can understand why, if you look at the cost of the ad book and the cost of the centerpieces and it's a pricey enterprise.
For our dinnerless dinner, we did have honorees.
Right.
Like
There
we
you
did
go.
have the whole
So you didn't lose that.
package. We did not lose
That's
it.
very good.
We had a theme. It really it worked. Does it translate to the crowdfunding campaigns? It's a little bit different. I find that you do so much work to collect, funds, and this is not a shout out for crowdfunding campaigns,
yeah.
because you walk in, you want a 3-to-1 match, right? So you're walking in with $500,000 in the bank to get what, 150?
So, yeah, exactly.
From everyone else. Okay, just ask 5 more people for 150,
Correct.
and now we're done.
Right. Unless that community level giving where you go to the masses is going to be sustainable, so you can retain and grow year over year, It is. It's like, why do that? Unless it's something that can help build a wider base of donors that's going to stay with you, then you're right. Then there's no reason. Just go to your key constituencies
and raise the money.
Raise,
so I will tell you, for Hanna Sachs, where it's different, I feel, from Seattle, and I don't know how they did on their last few campaigns. It is sustainable for them, and we are bringing.
That's not a lot of crowdfunding campaigns. A lot of people don't have, outside of the matchers and those middle tier donors. Everyone else that comes in, it's like someone's brother's, sisters, uncle's, roommate's dog's original owner. Mm-hmm. They're gone, and it's money out the door.
So our first year doing it at Hanna Sachs, I think we broke a model or hit a world record, not for funds because we did not make our goal.
Okay.
But we had the most donors.
Okay.
Of an organization who did not reach their goal, if that makes sense. Like we had thousands of
Lots
people,
of
giving $5 just to contribute. So that was amazing.
Right.
And then we learned how, let's take that group and just up it a little bit. Still contact them. And
also, one of the suggestions I would make, if I can give you some
please,
advice on air,
please.
To convert those people who gave those low level numbers to monthly donors. And as the next ask should be, thank you for your $18 gift last year. Would you do $10 a month? And the reason why that's valuable is because there are a couple of things. The statistics really support it. The lifetime value of a monthly donor is 5 years, which is very valuable. That's great retention. And when you convert someone from once a year to a monthly, their gift on average increases by 42%. In fact, we had a client in Chicago that moved that over. They used to do a crowdfunding campaign, just like everyone else, and we made the primary ask a monthly gift ask. And even though the number of donors went way down, the quality of those donors went way up. And now it's like 5, maybe almost 6 years later, they raised more money than they ever did before, sustainably. It grows year over year. They have a branded monthly giving society. And now the crowdfunding, instead of being like this thing, all right, we have to do it because it brings a lot of money, but it never really truly grows. It plateaus. It starts representing a smaller percentage of our operating budget because the campaign's not growing. Our operating budget is growing. So now we start resenting this campaign. Not them. They have maybe $30,000 a month in recurring revenue.
That's fantastic.
They can rely on.
That's
They're not a big school,
huge.
but that $30,000 is a lot of money for a month coming in.
That's huge. I'm going to tell my director of development.
Yes,
this.
we should definitely talk.
And
about
I have
that.
a director of development, which is super exciting in Hanna Sachs.
You didn't have that in Seattle.
I did not have that in Seattle. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, so definitely, when it comes to saying how do we take low-level donors and worrying about them dropping out, monthly giving is a great mechanism, and it keeps them and they're happy, and it gives you the permission every month to say thank you for your gift this month. This is what's going on in the school. Some people will say, oh, well, monthly, that means they'll put it on the credit card and they'll forget it's on the credit card.
But they remember.
But even if they were to forget, you lose. If you want to go to them every month and say, thank you for your gift this month.
Yes.
This is what's going on. And then what happens is in the 11 months after they start giving, you can go back to them and say, hey, would you increase from $18 a month to $36 a month or $54, $100, $180 a month? But the ability to get them to increase will only happen if you give them the feeling that they're partners year round. And that means you have a sustainable growing campaign. If they just forget you're on a credit card, dude, you're going to be living at $18 for
the rest.
For us. And again, it's not really, it's a little bit disingenuous. Go to them and say thank you every month for what they've done.
So we had a parent in Seattle who gave us every month, would send in a check. It was some deal with her kids. She wasn't paying for their phone anymore, so now she was giving it to the school.
Very nice.
And every month I wrote her a handwritten thank you note.
Oh, that's...
Which was amazing.
Yeah. And I guarantee, where sometimes people will go back to a donor, they spoke to a donor 11, 12 months ago and they got a gift, no communication up until the next session. And when you feel like going into the meeting, if I only would have maintained contact in some way, this would feel so much better and different, and I could probably get more money. But the fact that you wrote a handwritten note every time they made it, I guarantee if you would go to them and say, hey, would you increase your gift to X? She would probably pause and say, yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's do it, because she feels like a partner.
Have you heard of that story with the yeshiva and the Hanukkah candles?
No.
So some yeshiva, there was a widow living on her own, who knows where.
I mean, the Hanukkah candle gift thing has always been the Tells Cleveland strategy.
Yeah, so the yeshiva went all the time, visiting her Hanukkah candles every year, and a couple times throughout the year, and they showed up at the door. Okay. It wasn't just a phone call. And when she passed away, she bequeathed them a gigantic amount of money,
7-figure plus number.
Yes, because who knows if it's true, if it's folklore, I don't know.
Doesn't surprise me. I worked at the Federation in Baltimore, the Associated, and I used to give this little old lady a ride to Super Sunday every year. She had the walker with the tennis balls on the feet, and I would fold it up and put it in the back of my Honda Accord, and I'd drive her there. And I was there for 3-4 years, whatever it is, at the Federation. I did that. She would maybe gave $100 a year, $50 a year, fixed income. When she passed away, she left a few $1 million to the Federation. So that story, I believe.
Yep.
I hear a lot of stories, especially these like the spiritual rabbi did some miracle thing. I'm like, I don't know how much I believe this story, but that story I could tell you from personal experience, like that happens.
Yeah.
When you treat someone respect and you maintain a relationship, sometimes the biggest donors come from not the ones who have given you the most amount of money, but the longevity of giving.
Yes.
When you look at like endowment or capital campaigns, sometimes the donor's been giving you for 25 years are the most valuable capital campaign prospects for the endowment prospects.
They're bought into the mission.
Completely bought in. So yes, we should respect all the gifts. Handwritten notes when we can. Yes, you've got a lot of donors, especially if you have a record number. You can't write handwritten notes for everybody.
Right, and campaigns is where it's too hard.
Yeah.
When you get 4 or 5 a month, that's easy.
100%. Okay. Rena, this was incredibly valuable. I really appreciate your guidance. And look, you should continue to have lots of success. And please stop volunteering for things.
Yes, I'll do my best.
Because we know how this plays out. You display your competency, and then they try to take it. So, if I was Hanna Sachs, I would say, please just don't volunteer for anything.
There you go.
Run the risk of you leaving to something bigger and better, right? But I'm glad you're loving what you're doing. You're doing great work, and thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.